A courtroom clash over power, proof, and paternity. Missouri's Attorney General wants the elected sheriff of St. Louis removed from office, accusing him of nepotism and neglect. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson. Ann Allred has the night off.
And I'm Mike Bush. Today in court, the sheriff's team turned the tables, presenting birth certificates and calling the AG's explosive claim false on its face. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is live outside the courthouse. Mark.
Mike and Kelly, we often see high-stakes political power struggles play out in the court of public opinion. But today, the aggressive charges we saw from Attorney General Andrew Bailey to expel Sheriff Alfred Montgomery played out in such dramatic fashion with clashes over paternity. It felt more like family court. We also heard forceful denials and the sheriff's lawyers asking the court to potentially step in and discipline the Attorney General for false charges. Beneath this high-stakes court battle lies a pressing question.
Who's the daddy?
In a scathing 87-page court filing, Attorney General Andrew Bailey claims Sheriff Alfred Montgomery hired his brother as a deputy, crossing a constitutional line that violates a ban on nepotism.
There was a more Povich thing going on up in there. I was like, wait a minute.
A woman who identified herself only as Miss Logan challenged the Attorney General to show up himself.
I want to see the person who's making all these accusations be in the courtroom here in St. Louis. I'm not even sure where he is.
In the courtroom, the sheriff's lawyer, retired Judge David Mason, aggressively defended against the nepotism charge, telling the judge, "I have in the gallery Mr. Montgomery's father. He is not the father of the man alleged to be a brother." Assistant Attorney General Gregory Goodwin shook his head no as Judge Mason wagged his finger and said he sits there knowing this is a false allegation.
Who's your father? How do you prove it? How do you prove that this man over here isn't your brother? We look at both your birth certificates and we see that neither one of you have the same parent.
The sheriff's lawyers did just that, producing these two birth certificates showing the sheriff's dad, but in the birth certificate for the deputy, the father's name was blank. Still a missing name. What exactly did...
The burden of proof is on the Attorney General, and he has an obligation to tell you, the people, what real proof he has.
The sheriff's team acknowledged he ordered people in handcuffs, including Jail Commissioner Tammy Ross, but called it a one-time incident and said, he'll tell you it won't happen again. The state argued Montgomery continues to refuse transporting dozens of sick defendants in the city jail. The state arguing it's obvious that he's not going to do the right thing and fulfill his obligations. The presiding judge said this is neglect. There's conduct that is disturbing for sure, but to remove the sheriff now? He said, I think that's a very drastic step.
They came in hoping that the judge would make a decision to take him out of his position right now.
And what happens next? The sheriff's lawyers have suggested they might go forward and put Alfred Montgomery's dad, the sheriff's dad, in a deposition with the Attorney General to try to answer questions. They also hope to depose Attorney General Andrew Bailey personally themselves. The trial itself is set for November 10 with several discovery and court hearings between now and then. Live downtown, Mark Maxwell, 5 on your side.